Next we'll discuss how to use the Standard Products tab. This tab allows you to enter in all the standard precast items that you would like to have available for selection in the Precast Concrete Detention calculator. The first thing I'd like to do is refer to the notes. First of all the dimensions are in decimal feet unless specified differently. The calculator allows for different wall thicknesses. This is to accommodate chambers that might have a different thickness when you put chambers beside each other versus maybe a wall thickness that might be required on the outside perimeter. Also, it allows you to enter in the percentage of the void for a bottom or one of the walls. This would be used for a chamber that might have some leaching holes and you wanted to define what the percentage of that chamber was that could pass water. When it comes to entering in box culvert, one of the requirements that we ask that is you enter in a length for the individual chambers to be 0. Basically, the calculator will determine what the overall length of the culvert is needed for the particular requirements, and then it would be up to the precaster or the engineer to determine how many units or how long the units would be to make up the box culvert. And then the other thing would be chamber spacing and row spacing. Basically, chamber spacing is if there's any requirement that's needed between the two chambers when they're in a row. And then row spacing would be any requirement minimum that's needed between chambers from row to row. So let's just enter in an example. We'll do a box culvert example. So we'll do a box culvert. The next would be the chamber type. There's 3 different options you can choose from. Individual units, or a box culvert that's 4-sided, or a box culvert that's 3-sided. In this scenario, we'll choose box culvert 4-sided. The next would be the length, which would be 0. The width of this culvert is 8 feet, and the height is 3 feet. Top slab thickness would be 8 inches. The base slab thickness would be 8. Now in this scenario, let's just say that the base is solid, so that would be 0% void. The unit end wall thickness is 8 inches. I'm sorry, it'd be 0 inches. And the reason it would be for this case is because on box culvert, generally it's a tongue and groove system that's wide open. When you connect the 2 pieces together or 3 pieces together, you end up forming a tunnel. So the void obviously was 100% because there's no wall there. And then the side wall would be at 8 inches, and the void on that would be solid concrete, so it would be 0. And then the perimeter wall hasn't changed. I will maintain 8 inches with a void of 0%. Minimum cover for this particular box culvert could be 0, so we'll enter in 0. Stone base is usually not required, so we'll enter in 0 for this. Stone on the sides would be 0. Minimum row spacing, they can be butt up tight to each other, 0. And chamber spacing, same thing, they interlock so that the spacing would be 0. And then you can enter in cost per structure. That doesn't use the number out of this. You need to enter in that information in the design data if you need to determine costs. So that's how you'd enter in a box culvert. So now up top here, you can look at your different dimensions based on what the product is. So if I look at my box culvert, It'll show row spacing of 0 and chamber spacing of 0. It'll give me sidewall thickness, base slab top, and inside dimensions. And then if I change this to, say, galley 4x4, you'll notice that it had added in 6 inches for my row spacing, 0 for chamber spacing, the length of my units is at 4 feet, and so forth. We'll just enter in another example. Let's just say we have some type of a leaching chamber. We'll call this a DW 5x8. And these are individual units, so that's what we'll select. The length of the unit is, say, 8 feet. The width of the unit is 5 feet. And let's just say the height of this unit is 3 feet. Top slab thickness is 8 inches. Unit base is, let's say it's an open bottom system, so it's 0 with 100% void, obviously. The end wall thickness on this would be 4 inches with just, say, 50% voids. The side wall on this would be 4 inches with 50% voids. And the perimeter wall would be 4 inches with 50% voids. So basically it's just a rectangular structure that would be used as like a leaching section. Our minimum cover is 1 foot. Stone minimum on the base is 0. Stone minimum on the sides, we'll say, is 1 foot. Minimum row spacing, so the closest you can put these chambers together, let's say 6 inches. And with the chamber spacing, the closest they can be put together is just, say, 6 inches for that as well. So that's basically how you'd enter in the different products that you would want to use for the calculator.